Good morning and welcome to Wise Tech for Wise Money, the podcast where we speak with founders, operators, and industry leaders who are actively building businesses, moving capital through smarter technology and smarter systems. I'm Gary Wayne, founder of A1 Solutions International. We work with leadership teams, founders and financial and property businesses to improve intelligently and grow through practical AI-driven systems and operational strategy. Today's episode is titled From Lead Generation to Deal Automation, Building AI Infrastructure for Real Estate at Scale. I'm joined by Cody Sturgess, founder of Agents Lions Den, an AI infrastructure company focused on real estate professionals. What caught my attention here is simple. This isn't just marketing. This is about automating the front end of revenue generation, where appointments are booked directly into agents' calendars without manual intervention. Hi Cody, welcome to the show. It's really good to have you on here. How's your day been?
Great, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. The day is great. The sun is shining. I'm excited to be here.
I wish the sun was actually the sun's just gone in here, but for a change, actually, we've had a couple of good, 2 or 3 good days.
Nice.
Which is unusual in the UK at this time of year. Let's start at the beginning. Give me a little bit of background to who you are, where you come from, how you got to be setting up Agents Lions Den, and then just go on to tell me a little bit, why you set it up and what it does.
Yeah, I'd love to share a bit of background. For me, I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've built many companies. That's something that I really enjoy. I've been in real estate 8 years now and have built a great business in real estate. A little bit of backstory. I ride horses. Horses are my passion. I was shortlisted for the Canadian Olympics at one point, competed at the top end of the sport. So that led me into real estate, and I was like, I better sell a lot of real estate if I want to continue to ride horses at that level, because everybody knows it's not cheap. So there's your driver right there. And like what started with Agent Lions Den, like when I started in real estate 8 years ago, you're told the same advice and same advice as everybody. It's like go cold call, go door knock, use your sphere, all these really archaic principles, right? And can anything work? Yes, anything can be successful, but it's about like being efficient with your time as well, and also having a life outside of real estate, and that just not be all consuming for you. So for me, I started Lions Den because I was sick and tired of real estate agents getting ripped off. And there's all these marketing gurus out there who promise you the world, say, oh, we'll close 4 deals in the first month for you, like all these unrealistic claims. And they never produced. So the real estate agent would pony up a lot of money and get no results from it. And I saw this time and time and time again. I purchased some of these programs as well, and I knew that all these programs it was just, some of them weren't even generating leads, and some of them were just generating leads. Like leads to me don't mean a whole lot. Like booked conversations and booked appointments, that's what actually moves the needle in the business. So I knew that if we took a lot of time and really built out a robust enterprise grade system that allows the real estate agent to just focus on closing deals and having those conversations, I knew it would be really successful. So that's what we did. Huge undertaking, but here we are.
So what is different? I mean, I think there's a lot of difference between a lead generation system and a client acquisition system. We do some marketing for people in our, systemization and monetization program. But I look at it as client acquisition because we only get paid on success. And to me, if you're only going to generate a bunch of leads but never close, then that's not real business. So how do you differentiate in your market the difference between lead generation and client generation?
I think there's a huge differentiation. Leads, to me, they're just a name on a page, or they're a name in a CRM, right? The real estate agent still has to do all of the manual work. They have to have the speed to lead. They have to constantly follow up with them. Right now, the average data shows that it takes 18 touch points to book one appointment with a single person who has already raised their hand saying, yes, I'm interested in buying or selling. So we don't just give you the lead. We take it right from, we run all of your paid ads, custom media, and we generate all the leads, and then we book all of the leads for you on autopilot right into your calendar. So all you really have to do is just call those leads or call those appointments that have been booked for you. Follow our proven framework on the scripting, because we realize that a lot of real estate agents don't have professional sales training. So part of what we do is we teach them how to sell professionally, give them that background. So it's a complete done for you system. It's not just like, leads are one tool and one fragment of a broken system.
What about custom adverts? I mean, how do you do that? You do the content, you do the design, everything.
Yeah, we do everything. We do static ads, we do carousel ads, we do video ads. We run them on Meta, we run them on Google, we run them on YouTube. Whatever makes sense for the client, depending on their location, how aggressive they want to scale, their budget. We take all of those things into consideration, and then we build out uh, essentially custom advertising for them.
And what, I mean, obviously, doing all those adverts can drive the cost up dramatically. How do you equate for that? I mean, how do you manage that expense when you're doing a done for you system?
Yeah, that's a good call out. Well, we use a lot of AI in our own business, right? Like we practice what we preach. We have an exceptional inside team of very experienced media buyers, some absolute world class people on the team, and then we use all of the AI technology that is available to help drive creatives at scale, and that's getting more and more and more important, especially with the newer Meta update with Andromeda. They want new creatives. They don't just want a slightly different spin on an old creative. So we have to be able to create, you know, thousands and thousands of creatives at scale.
Interesting. So how do you get your clients?
How do we get our clients? Well, a lot of word of mouth, because when people come in, they get real results and then they want to share it, right? We have a big affiliate program as well, and then we use a lot of AI and a lot of LinkedIn outreach. I do a lot of public speaking as well, and really drive the social media. But we also practice what we preach. We do a lot of paid ads as well, right? So we have everything that supports the paid ads. A lot of people don't realize that it's really important to have a good social media presence that helps support the algorithm and supports your paid ads effort. If you're a nobody and don't have any presence online, yes, paid ads can still work, but it's harder and takes longer to get going, right? So we practice
Sure.
what we preach. We have all of our own custom funnels, and then we have our custom our conversational AI that calls all of our leads and texts all of our leads. It's all done for us on the back end, and then we have a sales team as well that will call out and also work with our AI to get as many booked as we can.
So your agents will obviously take up your services. I mean, what are their biggest problems generally?
Yeah, I think the biggest problem that we see with agents is not necessarily lead generation, but having structure and having infrastructure and systems. They don't have it. They're almost always following up manually with the lead, and at scale that breaks. If they're busy at an appointment, or they're busy at a meeting or something like that, that lead comes in, you have to follow up in the first 30 seconds. If you don't do that, you're 80% less likely to do a deal with that person. So that's what we're seeing, is that they don't have the systems, they don't have the processes, and they're losing a lot of business because of that.
And are you finding this across just Canada, or is it the US, or is it where is your focal point?
Yeah,
Are you
all in all.
geographic sensitive?
No, not really. All of North America, we have clients all over North America. The same system works whether you're on the East Coast or West Coast of Canada, East Coast or West Coast, or Central in the US. It doesn't matter. We've got tons of testimonials all over. It's about implementing the right system and having world class follow up. I have a saying. It's like the 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 fortune is in the follow up. There are very few people in any industry, let alone real estate, that are ready to buy right this second. Right? They have to be followed up with. They have to be nurtured, and that's what we do at a world class level. And that's our AI that looks after all of that. The real estate agent doesn't have to touch it.
How do you speed up a lead time though? How do you speed up someone's decision making time? Because I've noticed in finance, which is a market I come from, people take their time, they're reluctant to spend money. When they do spend money, they don't mind spending size. Generally, lead times can be quite long.
Yeah, they can be, and real estate is no different. Like the sales cycle is long in real estate. I think we all know that. But how we speed that up is we meet them where they want to be met, right? And what I say when I what I mean by that is some people only want phone calls. Some people only want text messaging. Some people only want to deal with email. So however they want to be met, that's how we'll book the appointments in. So it speeds up the process. And then we have a saying here. It's like when you talk to a client, then book a meeting from the meeting. Make sure that you have the next meeting booked and the agenda set. Don't leave with nobody knowing when the next meeting is booked, right? So that helps push them down the sales cycle faster just by doing those two things.
Obviously, you've set up many businesses and you've been in real estate 8 years. What drew, apart from the horses, what drew you to doing what you're doing now? This specific aspect of real estate as opposed to another aspect, and also in doing what you're doing, what are the biggest problems you're finding the people in real estate are coming across? And are you specifically dealing with just one sector of real estate market?
So let's break that down a little bit.
A lot of
Some
questions, sorry.
Yeah. So why like one of the biggest challenges that we see is that real estate agents don't know there's a problem until they're in financial trouble,
Right.
right? Um, Unfortunately, most of them that we see, they're working hard. There's no question about it, but they're working in the wrong direction. They are not working on revenue generating activities. Revenue generating activities are the ones that actually move your business forward, right? And they're a lot of agents are scared to do it, but they're also not coached to do it, right? They're coached on doing other things, so they'll make any excuse possible in order to not do that, right? Um, what was the last part of that question there?
Yeah, well, I think the first part was what made you go into this particular part of real estate,
Got it.
i.e., looking for leads and servicing agents, as opposed to being in real estate and doing development or sales yourself.
So one of the reasons why I wanted to make the change to helping agents is because I realized that I had the skill set to do it, and I also have the authority to do it. There are so many people out there that are helping real estate agents who've never sold real estate in their life. They don't know how to sell a house. They don't know how to buy a house. They're not educated in the space. So I come from a place that it's like boots on the ground. I'm in the trenches. I know exactly what's going on. That gives me a big competitive advantage when I build it out. And for me, like I was in a top 10% of the Toronto Real Estate Board as a solo agent the last 2 years, and from there, it just really showed me that with proper systems and a system like an infrastructure like Agent Lions Den, that you can compete with anyone as a solo agent and keep 100% of your commissions. So I think that was really powerful, and I'm a big believer in helping as many people as you can. Right? If you want to be successful, help as many people around you as you can, and eventually, like that'll raise you up as well.
So what made you so successful as a solo, real estate guy?
I think just follow up, like follow up, follow up, follow up. It's really important to have like exceptional follow up. I can't preach that enough. And for me, like I've had years and years and years of professional sales training, so I understand how to speak to people. I understand how to read the room very quickly. And then just having the authority that it's like it doesn't matter if you're competing against five other people. My offer is so irresistible. Why would you even consider working with somebody else?
When it comes to the agents, what's their main focus? Are you talking to commercial or residential, or it doesn't really matter?
It doesn't really matter. Um, our main focus though is residential, and and it doesn't have to be a solo agent. We have lots of teams. We have lots of big teams that we work with, brokerages that we work with, individual agents, small teams. It doesn't matter the size, whatever, like however many people you want to bring in into the infrastructure, we can handle. And that's something that's very unique for us is that we're built as an enterprise company to handle incredible scale. And most companies are not. They can onboard onesie twosies, not 400 people at a time.
And are you looking when you're marketing or doing the marketing for these people, the agents? Are they looking for properties to sell, or are they marketing for buyers, or are they marketing for both?
Yeah, it depends on how the agent runs their business. So we have lots of agents who are totally fine working with buyers. Honestly, in today's market, agents just want deals. Whether that's a buy or sell, they don't care. In a lot of markets, it's a little bit tough sledding right now. But then we have some more like very experienced agents who are like, hey, Cody, like I only want to deal with sellers. Not a problem. We have custom seller funnels. We have custom seller ads that we do. That's not a problem. They just have to understand that when they're directly targeting sellers, that the cost per acquisition is definitely going to be higher. And but most of the time when they get to that experience level, they understand that. And if any buyers come through, they just pass those off to one of their buyers agents to make their 25% referral or whatever they're charging, and then move on to the next deal.
From Lions Den's perspective, what's the hardest to succeed at, i.e., finding sellers or finding buyers?
Um, I would say it depends on your market and it depends on your budget. Sellers are always going to be harder to lock down than buyers. Um, but it really depends if you have the right budget and the right system, then sellers are not that difficult, but most people will come in with a buyer budget and want a whole seller campaign, and we just have to. It's just about education. They don't understand that you're competing against other massive teams in the space with your marketing dollars, and if you're spending X and they're spending XYZ, then they're going to beat you out every time, right? So we just a lot of that is just education surrounding how algorithms actually work.
So tell me about the algorithms a little bit. I mean, tell me, you said 18 touches to find a strong lead. That's quite a lot compared to industry standards. Um, I'm not saying it's not necessary because more and more people are ignoring the emails, the calls, whatever.
Yep.
But how do you mix it together? Do you do AI bots, doing the emails and then follow on calls using an AI voiceover? Give me a little bit more info. I'm interested, as I'm sure
Yeah.
the listeners, about how it really works and
Give
why
the give
people aren't.
give the secret sauce. Give the secret sauce. All right, Gary.
Well, I think
So
a lot of people, I talk to people and say, "Oh, I'm not interested in the AI emails." I think it's really important that people understand how professional these systems are.
yep. Yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna give you a stat that we're a very data-driven company. I'm gonna give you a stat here that's probably gonna blow your mind. Right now, as of recording this video here, blended across North America, we have a 24% lead to booking ratio. So that means almost 1 out of every 4 leads that comes into our system that we generate books into a real appointment to the real estate agent, right? Just mind blowing numbers.
That is unbelievable.
Right? How do we do that? We do that because we meet people where they want to be met. Okay. One, we build out a custom funnel for every single agent that is in our ecosystem. So it allows the people to click on the ad, fill out the lead form, and then it goes to the custom funnel. They can book their time slot to talk to that agent right then and there. Okay. From there, if they don't book, then we have our proprietary conversational voice AI. Her name is Julie, and then she will call them. She will call them within the first 30 seconds of that lead filling out the form. Now, there's only one thing that trumps speed to lead, and that is compliance. We take compliance incredibly seriously. A lot of provinces and states have quiet hours. You cannot call somebody at 2 in the morning, even if they were just sitting there mindlessly scrolling through and filled out the lead form. So these companies that text you right after you fill out lead forms and call you right after that outside of quiet hours, it's highly illegal and the fines are very large. So we don't play in that space at all, right? So that's just something that you should take away from that is if these other companies are saying that it's 24/7 follow up, it's highly illegal and you should run. But so Julie calls within the first 30 seconds, and then she also texts, and she also does an email. So within the first 30 seconds of the lead coming in, they get double dialed, they get a text, they get an email, they get a ringless voicemail. So that's how we book. We book those, and then we also take it a step further. We have inside sales agents, ISAs, that are trained personally by me that will call all your leads for you as well. So essentially, we allow the client 5 different ways to book. We meet them however they want to be met, and that is how you get the kind of world-class numbers that we're getting right now.
So, what sort of team size does it take to, you know, run an operation like this?
It's not. It depends how you look at it. So we have a really good team, but essentially the way that our business is structured is that we don't need a lot more people to scale rapidly. All right. So our biggest portion of the business would be the ads team for sure. There's multiple people on that. So you're looking at, 10 to 15 employees total to run a true enterprise company. The way that we have it
And if you
structured.
doubled your client base, it wouldn't break you. You could cope with it quite easily
Yeah, we
because of the
wouldn't have to
systems
do
you got
anything.
in place.
Yeah, the way that we have it structured, we can scale almost infinitely. The only thing that we'd bring on more would be more customer success. We have a very big customer success team per agent because we take that really seriously. All white glove onboarding, white glove service, everything.
Have you thought of applying this outside of the US into Europe and UK?
We wanted to get it absolutely dialed in the U.S. and Canada, which we already have. We have the results, but we just want to scale it up a little bit more before we start looking to expand even more.
What's what is it on? What was I going to say? Um, I had a question that's gone right out of my mind. So generally, I mean, how do you sort of get your clients apart from using your own systems? Do you advertise a lot?
We do a fair bit of paid advertising. Yep, and then we have a sales team as well. They make a lot of dials. We have a lot of automations for them to set them up to be successful. And then we're really scaling our social media presence as well. So it's a multi-pronged approach to acquiring new customers.
How how is the market now? I mean, We've got a lot of geopolitical problems out there. We've got a lot of uncertainty. I'm not sure how it's affecting people in North America, but here it's making people very nervous. So property market's taking a dive here because people aren't sure with obviously the oil prices going up, cost of living, whether they can afford a new house. Also, we've got AI coming into all segments of industry and business and threatening some jobs, which is making people more nervous. What's going on in the US, Northern Canada, Canada rather, as well, regarding this? Is it affecting the market?
Yeah, I would say it's very similar here. Uh, it's funny you talk about oil prices. I just filled up my truck last night. It was $250. I was like, wow, that is very expensive, right? So people's disposable income is getting less and less and less the more normal cost of goods increases. So what we're finding, and we work with agents all across North America. Some markets are still really, really hot, right? And then, but a lot of markets are in a downturn right now, and it also depends on the price point, right? The properties that are selling are those entry level homes, the high dollar luxury homes. In a lot of markets, they're advising them like if you don't need to sell it, don't sell it right now. So that's what we're seeing.
And do you specialising in any segment? So are you specialising in luxury agents or it doesn't matter? I mean, are you a generalist or do you cater for a certain segment of the market?
Yeah, we'll work with anyone who wants to install the infrastructure and run paid ads. So we have people that love to work with first time home buyers. We have people who hate first time home buyers. We have luxury agents. We have farm agents. We have rural properties, waterfront properties. It doesn't matter what segment that you're in. We have a lot of experience with it. The only thing that I would say is that the luxury agents, like that's a more longer term game, and they understand that, and they understand that spend needs to be more than somebody who's working with a first time home buyer, for example.
When it comes to appointments in the book, everyone's got a meeting in the calendar. You do get no shows. What percentage of no shows do you think you see, and how do you deal with no shows? Do you chase them? Does your system chase them? How does that work?
Yeah, so we have a pretty dialed in process. So no shows are just part of the game. Everybody knows that. And if you've never ran online campaigns before, you'll know that pretty quickly. So right now, what we see blended, like we do a lot pre-call to warm the clients up. You can't just book the meeting and then hope they'll show up. Like that's not that they're not going to show, right? So pre-call, we always teach, hey, call them the day before, make sure that you're confirming your appointment. We have a whole pre-call text and email sequence that goes out for everyone. They get all their appointment reminders 24 hours in advance, 1 hour in advance. So there's a lot of messaging that goes out and a lot of questions and just warming them up as much as we can. I think across North America right now we're seeing about a 40% no show rate, so 60% show rate, which is quite good. We're always looking at ways of making that higher and higher and higher. If you can increase your show rate even in 5 points, that makes a big difference to the bottom line. But the nice part about our system is that if somebody doesn't show or they cancel, it's not a big deal. You, as the real estate agent, do not need to chase them. All you need to do is log into your CRM, slide them over to no show or canceled, and then the AI. There's a specific the AI specifically for no shows and canceled. It will hound them and rebook them for you. So all you have to do is look for them on your calendar next time.
And in the market, it is as a moment, as we talked about just a touch earlier, we said the market's got a bit a little harder, people are more nervous. How do you have to adapt your system to cater for a tougher market? So instead of 18 touches, would you increase to 22 touches, or is the system set and you don't really need to change the system irrespective of market conditions?
Yeah, good question. The way that the system is designed is that we don't have to change anything irrespective of market conditions. So they could book on the first message, or they could book on the 200th message. It's specifically designed for to flex like that. So doesn't matter the market conditions for us.
And what about client profiling? You said you build funnels. Um, yeah, I'm sure the listeners out there would be interested to know, yeah, how you actually identify the hardcore, audience they need, which obviously increases the conversion rate.
A lot of that is targeting through ads. Every single person that we onboard, it's all custom one-on-one onboarding. So we really deep dive into what they're looking for, what their ideal type of client is, what area that they want to work in, what area they don't want to work in. So it really starts by getting granular on the front end, on the front end of the business, and then that will trickle down.
Okay, cool. And how do you charge? Do you charge on a project basis, or do you charge on a client as a percentage of ROI? That you bring into the agents, or are you flexible?
Yeah, so we're probably one of the only ones out there at our scale that don't take a back end commission on individual real estate agents deals. Um, so what we do is there's a monthly subscription, right? So we have 12-month plans, 6-month plans, 3-month plans. You choose which one you want to start with, and then those can roll over. Then you have your ads budget, which is a separate wallet, and then you have your usage, which is essentially Julie acts as your assistant. She's not going to work for free. She charges you very nominally for all the phone calls, emails, text messages, everything. So there's three parts to that, and then all the appointments, you keep everything 100% from there on.
How do you increase awareness? I mean, what's currently limiting growth? Do you think in your market?
For us,
Yeah,
we
for
just
you
need more.
guys.
We just need more people to know about us. The model is proven. The product and system is proven. The results are absolute world class. When we talk to big teams about it, they're like, "Holy smokes! Like we want to test this to make sure that it does what you say it's going to do." And then when it does what we say it's going to do, because it always does, then they adopt. So it's just more people getting away from that model of renting your business, because when you work with all these lead generation companies, and when you work with companies like Zillow and pay after close, all you're doing is renting your business, right? You're not actually building real infrastructure and scaling your business profitably more over time, right? So that's the biggest thing that agents have to get away from is like stop renting your business. Renting is really expensive, right? Like install some infrastructure and then actually build a real business. Be a real CEO of your own business. Stop renting.
The AI business or market is getting very noisy. There's so many people.
Yeah,
If you look on LinkedIn,
yeah,
everybody's an AI expert. If
yeah.
you look at lead generation, as they call it, everybody's offering it for free. We don't charge you until you get clients, or we don't do this. It's becoming more and more difficult to differentiate yourself. Is there any one message out there that you could tell everyone that really totally differentiates you from all these people?
Yeah, I would say that agents don't need more leads. They need a system that actually converts leads into real conversations. Conversations, more conversations equal more closed deals. So once that's in place, everything changes.
And if you could wave a magic wand, I always ask this, and you could change one or two things in the industry, or especially in your particular business, what would it be?
If I could wave a magic wand and have some changes, I would just get rid of all the liars. Get rid of all the liars and the people that are just straight up making bogus claims. There are too many of them in our space. They know nothing about our space, and they're just it's really souring and muddying the waters for organizations that actually do what they say they're gonna do and do it right the first time. So I'd love to be able to do that, and then I'd love to have the bar a little bit higher to enter the real estate space. It is an incredible profession, but the bar and the barrier to entry is incredibly low. So that does make it more difficult because a lot of these people that are coming in, they're just coming in for a quick buck, and then they exit, but they're not in it for the long term, and they're not in it to really make a long term scalable business. And I think that actually hurts the end client because you're often working with a friend or family member who really is not a professional in this industry. They're a part timer, and this is most of the time it's your biggest asset that you're going to deal with. And I just don't understand why you're putting your biggest asset in the hands of a part timer with part time knowledge rather than full time experience.
We've seen on Netflix and Amazon these programs, with all the high rollers
But yeah,
apparently all in Gucci and Prada, driving Lamborghinis. Um, how true to life is that?
yeah, I would say that's really great marketing, right? Everybody wants that lifestyle, right? Or they think that they want that lifestyle, but the reality is like that's 1% of 1% that actually have that lifestyle. So I'm always really big on setting absolutely monstrous, borderline unattainable goals. But if you shoot that high in your goals and you don't make it, okay, at least you landed somewhere up at the top there, which you can still have a very comfortable, very satisfying life, right?
Do you think is the real estate market a very successful market? I was speaking to a guy in Florida, a couple of days ago that does real estate. He works for a new company that's just launched, trying to go international. He said, yeah, a lot of the agents don't earn what people think they do. The average salary is anywhere like 40 to 60 grand, and there's a lot actually earning less. Obviously, you get some very high achievers, like we've seen on Netflix, and you get people, just below that are doing very well. Um, but I mean, how realistic is it to earn or how difficult is it, shall I say, is it to earn a very above average living in real estate?
If you install the correct infrastructure from day one and make the investment, it is very realistic. If you do what all of the old school methods are taught, it is very difficult and it will be a grind. There's an 80/20 rule. In real estate, it's more like 90/10. It's like 10% of the agents do 90% of the business, right? And the difference is those agents have real systems and real processes in place, and they're not using fragmented pieces from a system, right? They've invested in one system that puts it all together. So you can definitely do it. We have one example of a new real estate agent with us. He's been with us 6 months now, and in the last 30 days, we booked him 34 appointments in the last 30 days alone. He has a bigger pipeline than most seasoned veterans out there that I've ever seen. But brand new agent 6 months ago, he came to us and said, like, I want to install this, I want to do this right from day one, right? So it's just having that foresight and having that mindset to do that from day one. Make the investment. Like, what other business can you start with $0 into it? Like, not a ton, right? It's becoming more popular to do that, but in real estate, like, you have to invest in yourself, right?
Sure. And what about the high street boutique estate agency or real estate agent? Um, I understand a lot of them are disappearing. It's being taken over by sort of cloud agencies, etc. What do you see out there with that regard?
Yeah, that is the trend. Like the trend is definitely moving towards cloud-based agencies. I currently am with a cloud-based real estate brokerage, LPT. For me, it's having the flexibility to work where you want when you want. I think that there is always going to be a place for bricks and mortar businesses, but I think that as time evolves, that those will get less and less, and there'll be more financial pressure put on those.
And what about the solo entrepreneur or solo, real estate guy like you were, and like the guy you just mentioned who got 34 leads? I mean, are there more and more of those?
Appointments, not leads. That's how we
Sorry,
differentiate.
appointments. I apologise, appointments. Yeah, but are there more and more of them propping up?
It depends. Um, the reality is a lot of teams provide less than zero value. They promise you the moon, and they don't provide you anything. That being said, there are a number of teams that I know that provide real value, and in exchange for that real value that they provide, then they're going to take a split, right? For myself personally, um, I wanted to install the infrastructure that it ran for me, and I don't need that outside validation. I don't need that outside support. I'm a motivated person myself, but then we also brought the community aspect into Agent Lions Den as well, so you don't feel like you're on an island as a solo agent, right? So that's the way that I see it. Just depends on if you need that office environment and or if you don't.
It's not always what you need as an individual. I wonder what the clients need. The people selling their house, do they feel better if they're selling it under the name of a brand, or if they're selling it through an independent real
Yeah,
estate guy?
I think the reality is you know um some time ago people cared what was on the sign. Nowadays, people don't care about what's on the sign. They just don't. They don't care what brokerage you're with. What they care about is the end result that affects them and their family, right? That's what they care about. So they're hiring the individual person. What your logo is on the sign doesn't necessarily matter to that end agent or to that end consumer. They just want to make sure that you are competent and you can get the job done and get them the most amount of money for their place or whatever they're looking for.
That's great, Cody. One question before we go. If you were going to give some advice to a new guy or a new lady starting out in real estate as an agent, what would it be?
So it might rub some people the wrong way or ruffle some feathers, but I'm gonna go against the grain because this is what worked for me. Don't listen to your mentors, right? Most of the mentors out there, unfortunately, are very old school tactics. Their businesses are dying. They're running a referral heavy business, which is not predictable. Install an AI driven system from day one and take it seriously from day one. By the end of that first year, everybody will be asking you how you did it, not where's your next deal coming from.
Okay, fantastic. Well, I've really enjoyed this actually. I mean, I have an interest in real estate, and I'm
I
also
love it.
talking. I'm talking to a lot of real estate people, so it's really good to get your, your overview and knowing what your services are. If people listening in want to know how to get hold of you, want to get in touch, find out more about Lions, then how do they go about it, Cody?
Yeah, really easy. Just go to our website, agentlionsden.com. That's agentlionsden.com, and you can either sign up right there, or if you want some more information, just book a call, and that'll either go to myself or one of the experienced agents on the team.
Are you on LinkedIn as well?
Sure am. Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
They can
cool.
follow me on LinkedIn, no problem.
All right, great. Thanks, Cody. I really appreciate it. I want to thank everybody for listening in. We'll be back in a day or two with another episode of Wise Tech for Wise Money. I'm Gary Wayne from A1 Solutions. You can find me on my website, a1solutionsinternational.com, or you can find me on LinkedIn too. Cody, I really enjoyed this. I've learned a lot. Um,
Likewise.
yeah, and I really appreciate it.
Thanks for
Let's
having me,
talk.
Gary.
You're welcome.